What's good, guys? It's Ronald Kabang, also known as Youcapper from Sportsmemo.com. Welcome to another episode of Let's Cap. We got Ski Profit here today with us. Ski is pretty much killing every freaking sport right now. WNBA, MLB, NBA. You can go ahead and boast a little bit, Ski. I know you're doing really well right now. Thanks for being on again, man. How'd you do yesterday?
Oh yeah, anytime, man. Always great talking to you and finding some winners with you. Yesterday was a good day. I went 2-0 in MLB. I had A's first five, and I had that full game under seven. And then in the NBA, I had the Celtics. So nice 3-0 day. And MLB's been going good. Probably the last 94 plays. I think 60, a little bit over 60%. And you kind of joked about how I know all my NBA like last 836, a little bit
Yeah.
above 55%. So just trying to keep it going.
Killing it.
WNBA, my last what six? I don't know, but I'm like on a 60% run in WNBA too. So just trying to keep it going.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe it. I mean, like you've been one of the top WNBA guys that I've seen for a long time. So definitely love chopping it up with you, especially WNBA. It is. I feel like it's getting a little bit more popular this season with guys like me, you, Jay, and Teats and stuff talking about it.
Yeah,
Just bringing it up. More people and more people are wanting WNBA content, and I love it. I love to see it.
dude,
Um,
this is the first year that I've been able to bet games a day ahead of time. Like I'm just hoping they can keep it going the whole year, and it has to be because more people are watching. So I love
yeah,
it.
yeah, for real, for real. Yeah, for me yesterday, I had the Celtics first half lost by the hook. That was a crappy way to end that first half. I think this. I'm pretty sure Celtics had like a 4 or 6 point lead with 2 minutes left, and I thought I was gonna have it, but obviously didn't end the way that I wanted it to. And then, but I ended up playing full game. Jay came on. He talked about the full game, so ended up winning that one. And then I hit the Derek White over 2.5 rebounds as a prop bet. So overall, ended up winning, profitable by a little bit. But yeah, on to today. I want to focus more so on the WNBA. I know we got a WNBA show later on with Jay, but here today I want to talk about the WNBA. First, we got the Las Vegas Aces visiting the where are we at? Las Vegas Aces visiting the Washington Mystics. Aces are -5 right now, favored by 5. Totals at 168. For this game here, both teams I feel like they're 2-0, right? Their Aces are coming out strong out the gate, beating teams like Storm and Mercury by double digits. Mystics took care of the Fever. That should have been. I mean, obviously that was an easy win, but they surprisingly took care of the Lynx easily, but by double digits without Del Don. Shakira Austin was the number 3 overall pick in the draft, and she stepped into the starting role with a double double. So to me, obviously the Mystics are going to take precaution with EDD and her injury. So we might see a lot of game time decisions and maybe injury management games. And how Austin played that first game is going to give us a good idea that, when she steps out, they're going to be in good hands. One thing to note that we found out earlier today, Ski, is Natasha Cloud being out because of illness. And I think she affects the game in a different way. She brings length and versatility to that guard forward position. And that's where the Aces excel. What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, first, I was not surprised about Mystics beating the Lynx because the Lynx are just they're missing a lot right now. So it kind
Mm-hmm.
of went as expected. For this one, with Natasha Cloud being out, a lot of their offense, not even to mention how great she is on the defensive end, but a lot of their offense, like her getting into the paint and finishing, or her getting into the paint and kicking and creating shots for others. So it's going to be interesting to see. Maybe we'll get more of a, Rui Machida. She does some playmaking duties. It's her first year over there. I'm expecting Ariel Atkins to kind of maybe pick it up the scoring load a little bit from the
Mm-hmm.
outside. And Deladon, I mean, obviously she's going to be a great offensive player, but I don't see much defense there. So the way I chose to play it, like if Natasha Cloud was in, I probably
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be on the spread. But with her out, I think Washington, they're only going to play like if Tiana Hawkins plays, um, they'll probably have like 8 players available. And
Yeah, I saw
the
that.
Aces are one of the deeper teams in the WNBA. So longer the game goes, more advantage it goes to Aces. And going back to last year, Washington, and they almost tried to do it this year. Washington was a team that would start the games off strong, first half,
Mhm.
first quarter, and then just collapse at the end of the games and lose. So I like the Aces here. If you want to wait, maybe thinking Washington's going to jump out ahead at halftime and take them, second half, I can understand that. But
Mhm.
I took them minus the 5 points, and I like this game up and over the total. The Aces are going to play with pace. That's Becky Hammerstein, pace and space. The players that are on the floor, that's the way they want to play too. And for Washington, I think, like I said, I hate missing the offense of Natasha Cloud, but you're missing some defense too. And everywhere else on the roster, I'm thinking Washington can still put up their points, and they're not going to be able to stop the Vegas side. So that I will say I got over 163 and a half, and I think it did move. Um, Let me see, it's up to 168.
Yeah, it moved a lot. It moved a lot
I still think they can
overnight.
get
So
170 though.
yeah, no, I definitely agree, especially with the Aces here. I'm with you on the Aces here. I think Cloud being gone out of the lineup is huge for this team. Like I mentioned, like you mentioned, right? The Aces are one of the deepest teams in the WNBA, and you lose someone who's versatile that could play both guard and forward position and defend the best guard players and forward players on the Aces. That's going to lose. That means the Aces are going to be able to score a little bit easier, obviously, because the length with Natasha Cloud at playing the guard position, that's going to affect the guards on the Aces team, and then defensively, obviously, the Aces are going to score a little bit more. To me, that she's just such a big piece to their offense. I know Ella Della Don is a household name for the Mystics, but as far as gameplay and how their offense and defenses work, Cloud is definitely a big piece. So I'm with you there on the Aces. The over also it seems to me like the smart play as well, and everyone's actually looking towards it too. Obviously, going over 5 points from the open is huge, and we talked about this in a previous show about small markets and how those lines can move quickly if you catch them early. And obviously, you touched on a really really good opening line, so you have a lot of value there. So yeah, that's definitely a good thing here. So going on to the next game here, we have the Minnesota Lynx minus three, 158 and a half, so 3-point favorites for the Lynx, and they're visiting the Fever. For this one here, Link started off the season 0-2, both teams 0-2. They're still missing a whole bunch of pieces, like you touched on earlier. McBride's out, Coyer's out, Dantas is out, so they're missing a lot of depth there. And another backup big, Achanwa, if I said her name right, is out too. So they're lacking depth, like especially from the bigs, from the forward and center standpoint. Fever are 0-2, but expected. Obviously, we thought they were going to be one of the weaker teams in the league. Kelsey Mitchell and Nelisa Smith are picking up the scoring for this team. Queen Egbo, the rookie, she's game time decision, and I think I feel like she's a big piece as far as like being the starting center there for this game, because if she's not going to be able to play, Sylvia Fowle is going to feast in the paint. What are your thoughts on this one?
As far as you saying like they're going to miss some of that size, as long as you got Sylvia Fowles, you're good in that department.
No, I meant
Um,
on the. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, good.
um, yeah, Minnesota's still missing a lot. Like it was crazy to see. Um, like they had to make some roster cuts, a couple like the day before the season or a couple days before the season. They cut some players who were like key pieces the past couple seasons to the roster. Crystal Dangerfield, who was rookie of the year, and Lasia Clarendon, who was starting point guard and really,
Yeah.
running the offense. So you're looking at how they've been looking so far, you can tell like they're missing both of those point guards right there. Because Powers, as great as a player as she's been, hasn't been able to really run the offense how they want to. They're turning the
Mm-hmm.
ball over. And I know Coach Reeves, hot about that. I think she thought Angel McCautry could maybe make up for some of the things they're going to be losing, but
Mm-hmm.
we haven't seen her yet. I think she's probable tonight, and that would
Mm-hmm.
be a big boost. Like another great offensive player for this Minnesota side. So I think this is a very winnable game.
Mm-hmm.
The Fever are terrible. I know you got a lot of young players over there, but they haven't been good the past few years. They're not going to be good this year. They're probably going to lose their games by an average of double digits again this year. So if the Lynx can't beat this Fever team, I don't care if they're missing, Collier, Dantas, whoever. If they can't beat this Fever team, then that's a red flag for me on Minnesota. I think, they get the job done. And you can get a better line than me. I got -4. You're looking at -3 right now. And I bet I like the game over too because Minnesota, they've been shooting pretty poor so far to start the year. I think they finally get like a breakout game versus a Fever defense who's pretty soft. And I don't think they're going to be able to deny Sylvia fouls the way the previous two teams were. Like the previous two teams were doubling her and forcing everybody else to shoot. And
Yep.
Fever not going to really be able to do that. So give me the Lynx and give me the over.
Yeah, for me, with McCautry too. You're mentioning how the point guards, they're missing a whole bunch of point guards from last year. McCautry isn't, to me. I don't see her as someone that could play the point guard role. She's more of a scorer. Yeah, so for me, like they're still missing that, even if she does play. I mean, she played last game. She looked okay. But as far as like the point guard role, that's still lacking from them. I feel like today, especially if Queen doesn't play, Sylvia Fowles is going to be able to feast down low. I think that's just a big piece for Minnesota there that they were missing for a majority of the part in the last game, because she got into foul trouble early, and then you could kind of see what happened towards the end of the game. The game started to even out. First half, the Lynx were just missing her for a majority of the part. No post presence, no defense, and that's kind of what gave the game away. So to me, yeah, I do agree with the Lynx here, but to me, I feel like it's the line is a little bit tight. Like I think you mentioned in one of our chats earlier, the Fever are a young team, and even if they stay close early, they're likely going to give it away in the fourth quarter, and that's definitely the way that I can kind of see this game going. So, yeah, I definitely agree with you on these plays here. So to me, I think my best look for these two games in the WNBA, it has to be the Aces for the two games here. What do you think would be your best one look out of the two WNBA games today?
My best one look would be Minnesota Lynx -3. You just continue to fade the Fever. You only back the Fever after they've won a game and are shooting good and feeling good. Then you just ride the wave for a little bit until they go back into the cellar. But Fever are terrible. Minnesota Lynx, they have aspirations this year. They want to have a good year for Sylvia Fowles last year, and Coach Reeves is not going to be happy, if they go 0-3 here. So Minnesota Lynx tonight is my best bet.
All right, so there's the WNBA. I like the Aces. Ski likes the Lynx. One thing I want to touch on too, that we can go to the NBA playoffs here. One thing I want to bring up, I usually do a giving prop section, so a prop play. I did a show with John Ryan earlier today, and someone brought up Chris Paul points, so I wanted to dive into that. This is Edge House, one of the prop betting tools that I use. I brought up Chris Paul's points here. One thing that I noticed, he's hit 7 of the last 10, and these are all playoffs games here. And the 3 games that I noticed that he didn't hit were on the road. So he hit 4, 12, and 5 on the road. The rest of them were over, and majority of them were at home, especially game 1 and 2 against Dallas here. Obviously, Ski, we always talk about Dallas being really great defensive team at home, a little bit different, obviously, on the road. I kind of see that here again. And also, the personal stuff going on with Chris Paul and him coming into this one with a little bit of more motivation to kick a little bit of ass here. What are your thoughts on this prop play? I think I kind of like the over 16.5 in this one.
Yeah, I can't argue it. I mean, numbers look good, especially, coming off the loss. They messing with his family. He's probably pissed off. He probably wants to, come out there and show him a little something. So I think, don't be scared if it's not looking great early in the game, because if it gets to that fourth quarter and he has to take over, he will. So I can't argue against this prop. I think I like it.
Yeah, I know Mitch mentions Dallas #1 defense against point guards, but they did play earlier in this series two games at home in Phoenix, and he covered those pretty well. So I think it's a matchup thing. Obviously, when you have someone like Luka defending guards or even Brunson, who are pretty physical, and a lot of the other point guards in the league aren't that physical, and then you got CP here, who can match up against these guys pretty well. I think it's just a matchup thing here, in my opinion. And also obviously the travel and how Dallas plays on the road. So that is the props. One prop that I would look towards here. And then another thing that I want to touch on in the NBA playoffs, I want to bring up uh, the Heat here, Heat versus Philly, and how Kyle Lowry has done in the playoffs, specifically. How his play has affected the Miami Heat. So this is give me the dog, one site that both myself and Ski uses a lot. I use give me the dog for player specific type angles. So what I brought up here is this season. Let me bring it up a little bit. This season, the Miami Heat in the playoffs, when Kyle Lowry doesn't play, basically minutes equals 0. They're 4-0 straight up, 3-1 against the spread, and 3-1 to the under. And what we're looking at here is sort of like the pace of play and the offensive efficiency. You can see they're keeping teams under 94 points here. They're scoring 108 in those 4 games, and you can see the offensive efficiency or the shooting percentages here is 42.6 towards their opponents. They played the Hawks twice and the Sixers twice in this spot. You can kind of see that here, but when he does play, we can change this over to more than 0. 2-3 straight up, 2-3 against the spread, and 3-2 to the under. And this is where I see the gap here is towards the opponent's scoring, 104.4 allowing, and the shooting percentage goes from 42 to 47, close to 48% there. For some reason in the playoffs, Kyle Lowry has a negative effect defensively for the Heat here. It could be a matchup specific thing with the Sixers here in Harden. To me, I think I'm looking towards the Heat and the under in that game 1, Heat versus not game 1, but game 1 of today, Heat versus Sixers. What are your thoughts on this one, Ski?
I don't really care about Kyle Lowry missing. I'm keep it real with you because the Heat all year long, it don't matter who's in the lineup. Like the list today, they got 1 million people on their game time decision. So
Yeah.
They ended number 1 in the East. A lot of these players missed a lot of games throughout the year, and they still chug right along. So, I'm letting you do these player props. I'm kind of staying in my own lane and all this stuff, but I like the Heat tonight.
You like the Heat too? Okay, I like the Heat as well. I think this is a spot where the Heat take advantage of them. Especially, I just feel like the home court is big in this series too. I think this is going to go 7 games.
Home court is big in game 5s in general. That's like a pivotal game, especially when it's tied up. Teams who
100%.
are up 3-2, I think, win close to 80% of the time.
Yeah. So you think? I mean, obviously, home court, like you're mentioning, home court advantage is key in Game 5. Are you looking towards the Sun as well? Because I'm looking towards the Suns in the Suns' direction as well. Not only just because of home court, but I think just overall motivation too as well. What is your thought on that second game?
Motivation, home court, home favorites, and game 5s. They're a little bit over 78% winners. So, just looking at that, looking at the Suns off a loss all year, 16-5, I think they are. When they're a home favorite off a loss, they've won their last 6 by 19 points per game, and all 6 of their wins so far in the playoffs have been covers. They've been by margin. So I think the Suns get it done tonight. I think they're the better team. I think they stop everybody else and say, Luka, you're going to have to put the whole entire team on your back tonight.
Yeah. So one thing too, I looked at another reason why I like the Suns here. I was looking at them in double-digit revenge during the regular season. So right here, you're seeing season 2021. This is this season, Team Suns. The previous matchup margin is minus less than or minus 10. So they lost by double digits. They're 7-1 straight up and 7-1 against the spread with a plus 12 margin there. 3 of these games were in the playoffs as well. So we're really looking at a good spot here for the Suns to take advantage. And that's what I meant about motivation in this double-digit revenge spot. So yeah, this was a good show. I mean, we touched on the WNBA. We touched a little bit of the NBA as well. I think I want to do a little recap of what we talked about as well. In the WNBA, I like the Aces to cover full game. Ski likes the Lynx to cover full game here. In the NBA, we both talked about the Heat, and we also both like the Suns as well. So the two home teams in the NBA. That's it for today. Ski, you got anything to promote with Wager Talk?
Oh well, yeah, you can find all my work at Wager Talk. I told you earlier, I'm doing pretty well in MLB, WNBA, NBA, and if you want to jump in on anything I have going, you can find it there. So appreciate you for having me. Love capping the games with you, and let's get that
Yeah.
cash.
Yes, sir. So this is the end of the show. Once again, thanks you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button so you don't miss scheduled shows or any other content. Yesterday, me, Chris, and Finesse actually hopped on a live reaction show towards the end of the Celtics and Bucks game. We were chopping it up there. Also did some random capping during that time as well. So definitely hit the subscribe button when random shows pop up. Stuff like that always is good to pop into. And also, I always want to end with this, guys. Let me just remind you, fade or follow us. It's on you to make that call. Good luck on all your action. Till next time, peace.